And we're live. Welcome to Music Matters with Jason Tramm. Thank you so much for joining us for our unique podcast community where we explore the triumphs and challenges of the performing arts world as seen through the eyes of distinguished colleagues. Thank you so much for helping us grow. We recently hit 1,600 and something like 65 subscribers. So thank you so much for subscribing and watching us. Please remember to subscribe to us and smash that bell icon for the most up-to-date information on our upcoming guests and topics. Feel free to like and share our videos as it helps more people learn about our community where artists and the people who love that art come together to explore the issues that are relevant in the performing arts world. So we're so glad you're here. You can watch this on Facebook Live. You may be watching this on YouTube as well. You can also watch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and on Spotify as well. We have a wonderful guest today, a rising star soprano in Europe, right now based in Spain, but singing all over. We have Marcelina Beucher, who has won multiple competitions. She's been singing opera professionally for many years. She's also recently made her debut at the Berlin Philharmonic, singing Brahms' Requiem, and is fantastic. I got to work with her this summer and to hear her sing, and I'm so delighted she can join us today. Welcome, Marcelina.
Hello, thank you very much for invite.
Well,
Jason,
how are
thank
things
you.
in Spain these days?
Oh, very sunny.
Beautiful.
Very sunny, it's beautiful. Thank you.
Ma in España. I just did Don Giovanni, and I was thinking about Spain. So
Yeah, I don't, I think he had a lot of experience in Spain,
seemed to like it
knowing the
apparently.
opera. Yeah.
Now tell us about. Now, did you always know you wanted to be an artist? I learned that this summer when we worked together, you come from an artistic family, but did you always know that you wanted to be an artist?
So I'm from artistic family. My mother and my grandma, she was opera singer. My dad plays in orchestra. And I said to my parents after playing cello for many, many years that please, I don't want to be a musician. I don't want to do that ever, ever. I promise I will never. And then,
The best made
teenager,
plan.
rebel. Yeah, the biggest plan ever. And then being 21, 2021, so I think it's quite late. I said to my mom, maybe let's try to sing. I need to cut my dreadlocks. I need to take off my piercing from my face. And I said, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's try. And we work really hard. We work almost every day. And yeah, here I am singing. Can you imagine? Never say
Amazing.
never.
Well, some people are meant to be, and you're from a musical family. What was your instrument before you became a singer?
Yeah, I played cello for 13 years. I played bassoon and I played also piano because piano was as a second instrument since I was 5.
So
So
important to have that background, those skills. So it translates. I mean, you still have to get all the vocal technique issues worked out, but having the musical background makes your life so much easier.
yeah, but it's I see that it helps a lot. It helps with the studying new role. It helps with many things, but it's not obvious you have to play any instrument. It's not obligatory. So there were many artists that they didn't have any music past, and they are really great artists, and they are singing in all over the world. It's not like obligatory, but I see in my case it's really helpful. Yeah.
Well, it's wonderful. I love individual journeys and self discoveries. And when did you start to see success as a singer and say that this is something? Did you know you wanted to do this professionally when you first started?
When you go to music academy, I think it's good to have a goal. It's good to have a goal. Where are you going? Where you want to finish that? Where do you want to go to the choir? You want to teach? You want to just study for yourself? But I think it's important to just know that. So I said to myself that I will study Mozart. Mozart is like a bass. Before was Vakai and Konkon, all those crazy exercises. But my mom, as my teacher, she told me you go through that, and then we go to Mozart. And I was dreaming uh, to be honest, to just beg somebody in 20 years to sing Traviata. So the goal was Traviata, and this was my role that I would love to sing on stage. Luckily, being 27, I debut as a Traviata, and so then after debut, I was like really. First of all, I was shocked. Second, I was super happy, and then I asked my mom, like, "Mom, what's next?" She said, no, there are many operas you can also study. So no, it was just miracle. I think it's, of course, hard work, preparation, but you have to be also lucky and you have to have opportunity. And I was really lucky that one of the best conductors in the world, Andrei Jurkevich, found me, and the people from Opera House, and they offered me this role. And that was also my luck. That came in a very good timing.
Did you do your training in Poland or did you do your training in Spain?
No, I live in Spain for a few months. I study in Poland. I study with my mom and occasionally with my grandma. But
Wow.
then I did scholarship in Latvia. And after my whole studies, my magister, my PhD, I start to have coaches in US, in New York. So, that's how it went. Of course, I work with pianists in Spain already, but yeah, the base was done at home, let's say.
I always tell this to singers who listen to the program, how important it is to have a team behind you. How important is that you have a team now that you're in career?
Yeah, it's very important, and it's very important the support of the right people to give you courage. It's not always like, and we are talking now about good things that happen and luck and etc. I don't want to tell you how many times I was on some audition or competition that didn't went well. It's part of our job, and then you have to really analyze that, go through that. It's painful, it's like, heartbreaking for us artists, and then go.
It's
You
certainly a
just go
part
and
of the
try again.
artistic journey, right? To the rejection, and rejection is pretty constant. I tell everyone I've got a lot of artistic positions, but I've certainly applied for many, many more, and I've been a
Of
finalist for
course.
so many orchestras and this and that, and it's just the ones that happen. You have to take those, celebrate those wins, and be, always looking towards the future.
Yeah, I sometimes when I'm doubting, I'm thinking like, I cannot lose something that I don't have. No, let's go. Let's go. Let's just try. You know.
So take us backstage at your debut. What was your debut role?
Violetta Valery in opera La Traviata.
Wow, so you got to sing the role that you wanted to sing. That was your debut. Wow.
Yeah, that was my debut. I have to tell you, there was a moment during the general rehearsal when she's coming in this production of Karolina Sofulak. She's young, a young director who is now directing in England and all over the Europe. And she told me, "You are perfect. You are coming on stage so drunk. Your legs are like very blurry. Like you move like you really are in the role." And I'm like, "Carolina, I cannot control my legs. I just cannot walk in those heels. It's too stressful." So no, that was so funny. That the debut was something incredible. I will always remember that, and a
Such a
great role,
special role.
amazing cast,
How many times have you
such a
done?
special role.
How many times have you done Traviata since?
Oh, many. Since that time, I'm doing this a lot. I'm doing this. I did that in few productions, different productions, classic productions, modern productions, and it's this. This is the role that it's growing with me. It's still with me, which is also quite important, interesting, and it's always giving me lots of fun emotions and excitement, and yeah, so that's my role since that time. Yeah.
I've conducted 30 Traviatas at least, and I just love that show up and down. It's when I just the story and the arc of the character and her, how almost it's like three different soprano roles and three different acts. Would you say it's one of the challenges?
That's what I
Certainly.
say. Yeah. It's very complex role. It's very complex character. It's not only from singing part, from musical part. It's also from acting. It's emotionally. It's yeah. That's the first role in the world that it's the most popular in all operas all over the world. That's how they compose it, and it's very 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 great.
Mimi and Violetta, maybe the two top, most famous,
Yeah.
right? The two,
Yes. Yes, that's true.
those two
That's right.
operas. But certainly, boy, it's such a special story, and to get to play that role. And how has the role deepened as you've sung it more than once and over again?
How? Excuse me?
How does the role deepen? Your portrayal, and does it get any easier?
No. Everything is different. It's very different. Like you don't even, always I give maximum what I have and what I can, but growing and also vocally and also having more and more roles and more experience on stage is changing my Valletta. That's for sure. And also you take energy from different conductors, different directors, stage directors, different cast. Sometimes they are open vide, sometimes they are not. Sometimes you have to do really interesting things on stage, singing with the head down during the difficult aria, like. Yeah.
That's what makes it so special, is all the different, the way a director impacts the show and how it can make it really special or can make it really challenging. And I love that part of it.
Yes. That's we are a little bit sport people. We have to adapt also to new ideas and yeah.
Speaking of adopting to new ideas, I saw you this summer. You came on in the role of in the Il Pagliacci riding horseback, and I'm like, did they know you rode horses before they cast you in that role?
Yes, no, horses. That was my sport forever. I loved riding horses. I quit professional horse riding because of singing. I was waking up at 4 a.m., going to ride 5 sport horses until 10 and going to music academy. 3 p.m. I was basically almost dead. I was out of power. And, after half a year, I said, I have to decide that both professions are very intense. And that was it. Now the singing won again. Can you imagine?
Do you find you have time for hobbies? Do you still ride horses when you have time?
Yeah, I still ride horses from time to time, of course, because the season is very intense, and I like skiing. I like to be active, but be honest, it's quite difficult to do this regularly. Mm-hmm.
What a joy! It was such a surprise to see that in the staging. People in the audience were really surprised when the tenor came on riding a horse cart and you were riding a horse. It was just such a cool effect in the show.
But that was lots of practicing. We had few days to do the show, and we had also few days to adapt and to check our horses if they will not be, there's lots of music. The Pagliacci start with fireworks, and we had people with the fire. We had people with drums. We had big choir. We had everywhere. Maria Todaro just put really intense staging, and there was horse in the middle who was basically very interested, not scared. That's so brilliant.
Yeah, I was so impressed. Yeah, shout out to Maria Todaro and the Phoenicia Festival for the Voice. They did a really cool Pagliacci. I got to meet Marcelina there, and I was so impressed with your the way you acted and the way you kind of inhibited that role. Had you done the role before?
No, I prepared this role for the festival. Yeah, but that was role waiting for me. But it's not. It's not played so often, and that was great occasion.
I find that Street in Lassou is a tricky one. It's a really kind of a, it sits kind of heavy. It's a heavy role, but it's really exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's this role is basically full lyric. It has got lots of dramatic also moments. So I think it needs time. It also needs age and also needs experience. Yeah, that's a very complex role. I'm very happy to have it in my list of my roles. I was dreaming about this role. Yeah,
it's great when you get a chance to do one of the roles that's on the list. I mean, I've got so many operas that I'm still checking off the boxes. I have never done the several. I'm just can't wait to conduct, and I put on my list.
Which one? Tell me.
For me, I'd love to do more Wagner, of course. I've done a lot of Wagner in concert, but not many, because in the States we don't get to do it unless it's the very largest companies. But every time I can, I always add a Wagner piece on opera concerts and orchestral concerts. But I just love that repertoire. But how about you? What are some of the pieces in your list of roles that you're looking forward to?
I really love Wagner. There are some lyric roles maybe for future. I also speak German, and it's not very difficult for me, but that's also big orchestration, um, big music. It needs also time. So for now, it's Tatiana and Rusalka. These are
Wow.
my roles from this Slavic repertoire that I'm really dreaming to sing on stage,
We're
and
going
I'm
to put it out
working on
there in
them.
the cyber universe and get that out there in the universe and get you,
Thank
hopefully,
you.
that
And I
you get
also
to see
keep
on the
fingers
stages.
crossed for your Wagner.
Much appreciated. So tell us about your debut in Berlin. That must have been so exciting.
Yeah, and this debut was basically planned before pandemic. Was not so many things were moved, so many things were canceled, so much things that I was just not even counting what could happen. And um, yeah, so the Berlin came finally with the Brahms Anecdotes Requiem, and it was really brilliant. It was with Johann Kupfer as a baritone, and it was with Jürg Peter Weigler as a conductor, and an amazing choir orchestra, acoustic. I was really happy. I was in a paradise, music paradise.
That is
Yeah,
one of the most ethereal pieces. I just love the Brahms requiem. But the soprano part is not long, but it's so important. It's got to be just perfection.
yeah. And you wait there for an hour, listening to this beautiful music. It goes through you, and then you perform. It's magic. You also have that. It's completely different if you are coming on stage for your part. It's different analyzing and different feeling inside of music when you are with everyone.
We have a question. Our first question from the audience. Raphael from
Mhm.
Portugal asks us. She wants to know: do you get nervous when you perform, and has that changed through your career?
Yeah, many people told me that I look like I'm totally not nervous.
Well, you look very
I
relaxed on the stage.
I look, yeah, that's what I hear. I try to focus. So like 15, 30 seconds before I am very focused. 5 minutes before I have heart in my throat. Then half an hour before I just don't have any stress. And it's every 15, 10, 5 minutes is different. That's what I can tell you. But I'm having some system for that. Going on stage, just few seconds before, I'm thinking, you love it, you like it, it'll be great, and that's why I'm doing this, why we are singing, why we are performing, because we love music, we like to share it with the public, and then this feeling of happiness, it's helping, or it's, you know, then it's a way to deal with the stress.
I forget the conductor who told me it was when I was young. I was training and I was maybe assistant conductor and listening to him, and he was saying that if you're not nervous, you're dead. But
Yeah.
learning how to harness those nerves and use them to positively make your performance better is the challenge.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you for question.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
It's always good to
question.
get our questions. We had lots of people commenting on Maria Novakinai says your amazing personality, Marcelina, and with so much passion and determination. We got a lot of love for you on the chat screen. So
Oh, wow, that's so nice. Thank you so much,
so
Maria.
I love the way YouTube is this international force, and
Yeah.
we were mentioning in the pre-show that the social media can be such a great thing for artists these days. There are many challenges with it, but there is such a great thing to get the word out, and to spread your music, and to get people to know your art.
Yeah, you have to know how to use internet well. Then it's very helpful. I agree with you.
I'm always amazed. Some artists I've had on the show, like they'll post what they're having for dinner, and they're. I don't get that much into it. I love the fact that we can connect, like you and I can connect, and we met in New York, but we can have these conversations across the globe and talk about music. I just love that. That's something we can do so easily today.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I think that was one of the thing internet and possibilities of using the better and better day by day equipment to survive pandemic, basically.
Yeah, that brings us to
Yeah.
the pandemic, and tell us about like how the pandemic changed your life. You were busy, you were making debuts all over Europe and in the United States. How did that change your life, and what's something you've learned about yourself during the pandemic?
No, that was a big shock, I have to tell you. Just right before pandemic, I was in Japan singing Pamina Contessa. I was in singing concert in Concertgebouw in Amsterdam. I was preparing new roles. I was like, so many things were happening, and then drastically through the whole world start to going the wave of pandemic, and everything was canceled. No, in what I can say 24 hours. So to adopt first, I had a big anxiety, of course, of not knowing if it will take 1 month or 10 years. So I painted the house. Uh,
I live in the country. I did my backyard. I landscaped. I was working in the yard, and I was supposed to be making a debut in Vienna, a debut in Prague, and instead I was doing yard work.
no, now we laugh, but it's so sad. It was moment of such a big disappointment, because this is the thing that it's not controlled by you. It's not a matter of that you were not lucky to perform there, you were not prepared to perform there, you were, etc., etc. It was something from outside that just stopped a whole world. And I start to paint, I start to do really different things until the moment when I accept the situation. So
What did you paint?
practicing, I paint opera houses.
Ah,
You know, first I paint the wall in the house. I paint the huge opera house in different colors. Then present it to my husband. Then I said, okay, now it's a time to cover it with the normal paint because we will not have whole house of opera houses on the walls. So that was the thing. And then somebody told me, just do this on the canvas, paint that. And I would like to order Metropolitan Opera House. I would like to have Vienna. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, now it's getting harder. Now it's not like whatever. And I said, if you would like to have my painting, just support Opera Tigre Festival in Argentina. That I know the friends that they are doing this. Support art on this and this link. Let's. There are people in need, and there are people that they know how to use this money for future. And that was my thing. Plus, I start to practice a lot with my pianist next door. Like
well,
basically,
that's
we
good.
live we
That's
live
convenient.
we live in that time in Amsterdam, and I had a pianist on the houseboat in front of my house. It's brilliant. Just like 5 seconds, no, maybe 50 seconds walk, and we start to practice different things. And because of my singing in opera, I never had so much time for songs. So I start to prepare some songs, and we record a CD during the
Wonderful.
pandemic as a project, our thing, which went really great, and people start to be interested in that, start to play in the radio, start to invite us for concerts in the radio. Of course, with social distance. Of course, we also had a social distance because the boats are very long, and basically we were keeping social distance for all this time. And yeah, so tiny things, 20% maybe things happened through the whole plan that was planned for 2020. But still, when I look at that with from the distance and from the time, I use that time as much as I could.
That was the thing
And
is,
yeah.
after the initial surprise and depression we all felt, I mean, we've had 230 of these shows, and pretty much all of the artists in every field, from the rock artists we've featured, the indie singer-songwriters, to the opera singers, it's truly a global phenomenon that we all face as artists. Is, if you're trained to perform live and to be in front of audiences, all of a sudden that's taken away. We all had to say, now what? So bravo to you for finding the meaning, for doing the painting, for being creative and finding ways to get back. Did you learn new repertoire?
Yes, I learned a new repertoire. We also on the CD. It's very interesting because my grandmother had a very very old music notes from one Polish composer Lefeld that nobody ever recorded on CDs and on CD or perform it. So we said, let's do this. Let's go into the very famous and very famous Polish composers from the songs to the arias, and then also add levels. So new roles, new repertoire. I was also like, you know, practicing things that I already did on stage, going through the whole opera. That just for my own pleasure, for us, for to meet in the me and pianist, to maybe invite 2 3 friends that they also sit in the social distance. Maximum was the limit. I think it was changing all the time. So it sometimes was 10, sometimes was 20. So we were like, now it's a time that we can invite 20 with social distance. Now it's a time we can do 10. We were doing some small, tiny.
Sounds an awful lot like the salons of Paris back in the
Ah,
turn of the
yeah.
century. We were talking about that in the pre-show. That you've got like Chopin and the those beautiful art songs and how he presented. Very similar, I'd imagine.
That was. I felt this way. I felt that we moved to the times where we were in the living room performing live music. People were drinking champagne and listen to artists, and yeah, it's very different what we used to.
So, what was it like when you started contratizing again, and what were your first pieces back on the stage?
Oh wow, that is a very interesting question. Let me check. Did I? What was just straight after? I think I did a summer festival. Because through the pandemic, there were moments in Europe because the also traveling was very difficult now. There were moments that the pandemic was a little bit slowing down. So there were some festival happening, especially summer ones. I did few festivals in Germany because they were or outdoor or they were in the open half opener stages, and so it was not like zero, but let's say 20% of everything what could happen. And then I had 3 times moved Euridica in Orfeo Les Enfers. So then when finally that happened, that Euridica was really big after the long break performances. I did also Nedda. I did concerts. I did a private gala in Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. I did few concerts which were like really satisfying with a great energy in Krakow, in Poland, in Warsaw. Yeah, it's something unbelievable when you can finally perform for the public, full public, and
It was
you
so
are not
special to be back on
scared.
the stage again. I mean, I just did my first opera in 2 years. I did a Don Giovanni a couple nights ago on Monday, and I mean, it's been like the first orchestra piece. I did a Beethoven 5 this summer. It's like each one was like, oh yeah, I missed this so much.
Yes, that's true. I did Mahler Fourth Symphony during the summer. No, and this feeling was amazing, and especially when you are such a intensively working in opera, you have orchestral piece, and it's different connection to the musicians. It's very intense. You feel like you are one instrument, one of them. No, so I was really touched. I was like, no, you will not cry, not cry. It's just sing it. I had a feeling like, oh my God, it's so touching. What is happening to me?
I
Never
did my
happened.
first chorus rehearsal in the summer, and it was after 2 years of virtual. I did 100 virtual choir performances. We did these recordings for 2 different choral societies: my university, my summer festival, which does a lot of choral music, and me and my son did 100 of those projects, with sometimes from 20 to 100 singers or instrumentalists on these projects. It was so much work, and it was going from a live being a conductor to being just doing live Zoom rehearsals and things like that. It was
Wow.
wild. So the first time I was in front of a
Wow.
live chorus again, I tuned a C major chord and I just stopped and like I almost lost it. It was so emotional.
Very. And congratulations, 100 concerts. It's a big number. And
It was
yeah,
wild to go mostly online because that was the safest way to keep my musicians safe, but to keep them making music.
yeah. Wow.
Who would have thought that at a time when we're all so busy that all of a sudden everything could stop? I think it made us all philosophers in a way.
I think so. I think yeah, that was a moment to analyze where are we going, what for what, what is the main what is coming from our heart? Is it career? Is it doing music? Is it love to music? Is it like so many things you can analyze? It's not like you cannot have this all together. But there was a moment of the whole world stopped, and everybody was asking themselves like, what is my priority? What is thing I want to do? Who I'm missing the most now? Yeah, it's yeah, that was very, very strong feeling. That was very strong feeling.
What's something you've learned about yourself through all this trials and tribulations and coming back now and getting back to the art you so love?
No, I don't even remember myself before. I think I was like in a TGV train, or like a roller coaster that I'm sometimes on the limit to jump out of it, because I did crazy things. I did like 11 roles in one season. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it's also crazy. It's amazing. It's great to also perform intensively, but there was a moment of like, maybe it's not needed. Maybe it needs to be a little bit slower. Maybe I should treat my voice also like very, very, very long distance. Maybe it's just now the time to prepare roles in the normal time of few months, not few weeks, because of running. It's not like you still you cannot come back to what it was. But I had a feeling of like, yeah, maybe there is some sign in it to slow down and to analyze this way, and also contact with the family. And also, we spent so many hours on video WhatsApp with friends and family, and missing each other, because there was a moment I could not see my family for many months, and having the video, could sing with my mom through video, and doing shopping online, or going to the shop next door also with the video. Yeah, but it was very, very difficult, I have to say.
Yeah, it did really a change. Everyone's circumstances would change so rapidly and so quickly. It's really it's astounding. But thankfully, we have the telecommunications we do have, and the way our that ability to keep in touch with our family and our friends, and to
Yeah.
I think it's so important that we do. Can you imagine if this happened 10 years previously, or 12 years previously, when there wasn't this telecommunications software?
Yeah, writing letters.
True.
No, writing letters and waiting for response. So yeah, how it was.
Well,
Very,
there
very
certainly
different.
has been diseases and outbreaks in the past, and we see like that. Composers, we have so much correspondence that, and thankfully we have that. I hope we save the emails today's, like we have. We have Beethoven's letters and Mozart's letters, and everyone wrote so much because that was the only best like communication. I hope that we save what we have.
Yeah, there was they said that in Poland we have a very famous competition, the piano competition, Chopin competition. People from all over the world are coming, and they said it was amazing level. The level was out of this world, and there was one pianist who I I don't think it was a joke. I think he was serious. Very young, very talented. One of the winners. And he said, basically, I was at home 2 years, and I was playing, practicing, playing, practicing. That's also like, it's we put in the schedule practicing. But we have also different things that they are taking our time. But in this circumstances, we a little bit moved to the times that there were no cinema, no parties, no disco, no restaurants open all night and day, and we were at home. And as an artist, we just practice.
That's true. There was a lot of time to prepare and think about programs for me, and things. Everyone was working on the road back, and how do we start planning the concerts for that come after this? And I think we're starting to see all those come back now. And fingers crossed that the pandemic stays at bay.
Yes. Yes. Uh,
What do you
yeah, I
what are you seeing in Europe these days? How has the pandemic changed the opera scene in Europe?
no, still the situation is a little bit on the limit. We can hear every day that some theater needs to be closed because people from ensemble, people from choir, or it's enough that one person from orchestra is getting sick, and then you have to have time for quarantining everyone. So it's still around us. It's still like not over, and that's what we have to be careful about. Also, we have to know that it's this is different, still different time. Uh, but I see that the the theaters they can deal with it very properly. I was in a Berlin performing, and they were really careful about who's coming in. We were very careful of wearing mask, checking the vaccine passports. Like it was very serious. It wasn't like half half or maybe. It's that's in my opinion very good.
Yeah, I know that in New York City, like with the Metropolitan Opera and Broadway, they're testing them almost every day. So
Yeah,
every
it's
day, so they're being very cautious, and I think it's so important. We can't we don't want to close down our business again.
yeah, and we wanted people to come to opera and to feel safe, not to risk their life, their health, and you know. So opera and theaters they need to be safe place.
Did during the COVID period, did you do a lot of streamed recording performances?
Yeah, we did. We did with a group of friends. We record part of the Viking opera based on the Viking story of the Elżbieta Hrezińska. It's really interesting book. It's also in English. Had a premiere like half a year ago with artists from Hollywood, artists from Poland, and really great project. And we also did recordings for one organization that is doing doing projects for the elderly people, for the people that they could not leave the house, and we presented them top music from early music to modern music, from different voices, with the talking with conversations, with analyzing, and was really brilliant. It was like a project for a few months that I was one of the singers, and yeah, of course people start to be very creative, and we start to have really good ideas with the moments of doubt, with the moments
That's
of
the one
happiness.
thing that in the with the creative people, that even though we couldn't perform, there people were creating almost immediately. People found a way, like with your painting and then you're singing these concerts. It's so important that artists are going to create no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was happening, and as you know, you were also performing online. Um, it gave pleasure to create. We were happy to meet online, waiting for the moment to share it with the public live, the public, in the theater. But to not use this time in any way, for me, it was not possible. It was not possible. I need to, learn. I need to create. It's just inside. I cannot stop.
It's just who you are and who artists
Yeah.
are. Is that, and congratulations. That's so wonderful that you're out there and able to do that. And do you find you like performing online? Do you like the online, embracing that as part of your career?
It's possible. Sometimes it's annoying. Like being not a IT master, it's like, why did that stop? What is happening? Why is like blah 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 blah? Like why my voice sounds so like those things. Those
It's
things
very
are
hard to
very.
get good recordings of opera singers online. That's a challenge because the microphones peak if you're too close to them because you're meant to be singing in a large theater.
Yeah, and then it needs time to learn it. It needs time to to check which microphone is the best, which position. Oh, I recorded, it's amazing. Okay, bad light, nobody can see me, etc., etc. That was a mission. And then after some time, you have a feeling like, no, today I was singing like 5 hours, I didn't record anything, I have to stop and do this tomorrow again. That's how
There's
it
a
looks.
steep learning curve with technology. I find the same. The lighting and the sound, there's so much into it. But the good
Yeah.
thing is that you can put down once you record yourself, it can be there, and you can. People are very interested to hear your thoughts and perspectives on the music, and I think that we're seeing a lot of this. We see this in pop music all the time, but I think we're seeing it more and more in classical music. That people who follow singers, they want to learn about them, they want to see how they perform, a little bit look backstage behind the curtains. It was very interesting to people.
Yeah. I think it's we could see how many people were interested in opera. We could see how many viewers um, were coming for the performances online or for free or buying tickets. No, there were many options to also buy a ticket and go for the show. A little bit different, no? Maybe there was also advice to dress well, to be at home with a glass of wine and just
Sure.
high heels and not all the time in pajama and
There's only so much Netflix people can watch.
yes, that's
So
true.
important that we keep the arts. And I was so impressed by the way that opera houses were doing stream performances. They're keeping the musicians safe, and I think that's. I think people really worked hard in incredible ways to keep the arts alive and vital.
Yeah, that was I think important. Well, like for every person who is an artist, but for the audience, I get a really good feedback, and many we share with the fans many recordings, and all the time, like being active on social media was also quite important, even with the memories, even with something for future inspiring. And yeah, that's how it was this like almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
1 year and
What
a half.
advice do you have for young people coming up in the arts today? People who maybe want to pursue a career in music, and it's been so challenging. What advice do you have for people who are just starting their journey?
Mhm. Choose well, listen to yourself. Really, nobody's in your body. Nobody could feel if something is really wrong or if something is really well. um, don't give up. Like, it's time that if you will hard work, that will bring you success, opportunities, chances. It's never lost. It's like if you hard work and you work with the pianist, you prepare new roles. Even if you just love some role and you prepare it, you don't know if somebody will not call you, like, I've heard you are preparing this role, I've heard you are able to do this role, and another colleague gets sick, another person cannot, another person has got another gig, you know and if you're not ready and if you're not prepared, like, of course, miracles happen in a weekend. You can learn a role, but it's better to know it a little bit earlier, no?
Very good. Appreciate that. And thank you
Yeah.
very much. It's great advice
Thank
because,
you.
and very honest advice. And, young people have so many conflicting voices. It's, every time you do a competition or a coaching, you may have different advice on how to approach the voice and the technique. And no one is in your body. You have to kind of feel that yourself as a singer, and to find that it takes a long time.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's worth. It's worth. If you have it in your heart, it's really worth. And yeah, let me drink from my no drama lama cup.
I've got a kind of a
A little bit.
star cup or something here. I'm drinking
Are you
coffee.
ready for you ready for Christmas?
Always ready for Christmas. We're getting there. It's coming surprisingly fast.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, time flies. It's November.
Does again.
Middle of November.
Hopefully this next year things even open quicker and more, and that
Yeah.
that the vaccine keeps on spreading, and the people are being safe and careful, and we get back to the art that's at the level and the amount of productions that we're all back there and working 100% again.
Yeah. I have one thing I would like to share
Please
because
do.
maybe we have some Spanish speaking people that there is a book coming next week which could be very, very interesting. Conversando con, written by Marisa de Prada, Ana Nassarre, and it's interview with one of the top singers from all over the world, artists, ballet dancers, in Spanish, soon in English. But as we know, the Spanish speaking people, it's a huge part of our world, if not the one of top three, no, isn't it? And I really recommend its interview with Francisco Araiza, Diana
Oh,
Damrau, Ermonella Yahu. No, really, really great artists. And among all of them, there is also interview with me. So I
very
really
nice.
kindly invite you to follow or to order on Amazon, or if you're in Spain.
We'll put that in the chat.
Check it
Thank you
in
so
my book.
much. It's some wonderful singers there, and
Yeah, and it's
different
very
ages.
interesting. It's also about this tough time. It's also about inspirations. It's also about working. It's about private things. It's a very interesting book. Reading interviews, I think, are also, if you're not connected to music, classical music, opera, that could be very interesting for you. Or if you have a kid who is talented artistically, who wants to be a ballet dancer, read the interview with the best ballet dancers and get inspired, or get information where to go, with whom to work with. It's, I think it's quite important.
I learned so much every time I do an interview. I learn something, and the people I talk to are always so interesting. I mean, to get to talk to you about your art is really wonderful. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for invite. I really appreciate it.
Where can people go to find out more about you?
You can follow me on social media. I am active. I am also on responding to all the emails, and I'm on Spotify. You can also buy our CD online with Gilbert and Brother, Polish Soul, it's called. And then follow me on my website. So then you can come for future events, or listen to some of my recordings.
Do you have any plans for coming back to the States or on this side of the Atlantic Ocean?
I wish.
Not
I
yet.
wish.
Coming in the future, I'm
I
sure.
wish. Yeah, coming in the future. I wish. I don't know if you can say that in English and if it's properly, but I am New Yorkaholic. Is it working? Like I love
Sure.
New York so much. It's just, it's incredible. I've never felt so well in any city in the world like there. So of course that's my dream, and that's the dream place to be. But I have future is coming, being more based in Europe. I have recordings in Berlin, also with in a Philharmonic. I have new projects, probably new CD, and there is some things to do here, and waiting for the next meeting with the American audience.
Well, continued success in all your artistic endeavors. I can't wait to see you live on the stage again, and to see you when you are back or when I'm over there. Keep on doing what you're doing, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All the best for you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on Music Matters with Jason Tramm. Please remember to subscribe to us and smash that bell icon for the most up-to-date information on our upcoming guests and topics. We feature artists from the opera, classical, contemporary, rock world, and everything in between. So thank you so much for joining us on Music Matters, and remember, keep music alive.